first things first, I'm going to apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm still feeling under the weather, but that doesn't matter because we got some ground to cover today. Me and Justin, Monster Films, we got a giveaway coming up. It's a Deadpool giveaway. It's featuring 2 items. I'll leave a video link to where you can see what we're going to give away. And it all comes back to a podcast that's coming out this Friday. And the podcast that we're doing is called PHACKTZ. Well, there's no link yet because we haven't put it out yet. But it's about Deadpool this month. We need a theme song. And I was asked to do a beat making tutorial to show people how I make music. And it's pretty simple. So I'm going to show you guys my step-by-step on how I construct a beat. This is going to be the theme song for the podcast. So let's move this to the studio of the stars somewhere in California. Yeah! Alright, so we've traveled an amazing distance and now we're here at the studio of the stars. And before I get started making music, I always like to make sure I have something to drink handy, my pee bucket. If you're a drinker, make sure you have your beer or liquor handy so you can swig. You got to make sure you have your doobie bong close by so you can grab it and torch down, just in case you need to be elevated in the mood for your creations. And this is a judgment-free zone here, so do whatever it takes. Creativity is a weird beast. I also make sure that I have everything that I need handy. Out of the frame is a guitar, a lefty guitar, because I'm left-handed, unfortunately. And I make sure that I have that located nearby. I got my keyboard right here. Doopily-doop-doop-doop. But before I get that started, I'm not a drinker. But I got my LaCroix Karate. Last time I was drinking on that Pumbaaye, but this time I got some of that Cherry Slimone. But before you start making a song, you gotta kind of feel like, you gotta find some inspiration somewhere. And so I have the lyrics in mind, which are pretty simple. It's just mostly like just facts. I might say something else like a yeah. I kind of let that flow when I get to the lyric part. The lyrics are always one of the last parts that I do, but I like to have an idea of where I'm going with the lyrics when I'm doing this. Now, the first thing is I like to try and figure out where I'm going. I told you I like to emulate, or I like to borrow from other people's material when I'm creating my own stuff. Same with YouTube videos. I do the same thing. I just borrow. Today, I can't seem to get Fergie's Fergalicious out of my head. So, I'm thinking in my head, the beat is going to be like, facts, which doesn't really sound like Fergalicious. More so for like a tempo and just kind of a guideline of where I want to be when I'm making this track. I know it sounds like stupid or like I'm making a mockery of Fergalicious, but no, that song when it came out was a pretty raw track. It's not a mockery. This is what I'm going to do, and this is going to be the theme song. I got my karate. You have your liquor or your doobie bong. So we're not going anywhere. We're gonna start pushing through this. So first things first, you're gonna want to title your track. Now, I've always made the stupidest titles ever: Men's Asses or Worms in Hawaii. Now I'm doing more so dates. January 18th. Part 2, 2016, like, I don't know. You just title your beat something. I'm titling this one Facts because that's the podcast. Always start with my drums, so that way the metronome is there. Let's start with our hi-hats. Okay, so I always quantize everything. Quantizing is a technical term for making things on point and not off beat. And then I loop everything. So there's our loop. I don't think that's fast enough to give it that groovy dance beat that I'm looking for. Now that we've got our hi-hats all dialed in, we're going to start with the kick drum and the snare drum, or the bass drum and the pop-pop. I think that these are going to be the sounds that we're going to use for this track. there's your drums. So after I got my drums sandwiched and ready, I'm going to put a crash cymbal on there just to kind of add to the flavor of the beat. That's crash cymbal. So now that the foundation for my drums is down, I'm going to now plug in my bass guitar. With the power of magic, I have my bass guitar all ready to go, and it's tuned, and you want to make sure that you're tuning your instrument, or otherwise you're going to sound like an idiot. What do you guys think? Do you like that? Moving on. Now, you're probably saying to yourself at this moment, Ross, you idiot, this sounds nothing like Fergalicious, but it kind of does, because Fergalicious had some soul and some sauce to it, even though I feel like poop will sound like gold. Or maybe it won't sound like gold, but it'll sound. Now we're going to add my first layer of guitar. I always like to add in like 15 layers of guitar because I don't know when to say when, but for today's purposes, I think it's going to be like 3 layers of guitar. Okay, that sounded like a pile of diarrhea, so we're going to try that over again. Okay, I think that is going to be it for guitar number 1. Let's move on to guitar 2. I think that is it. So now that we have our more chordal type of, I don't even know what you call those, dinker tracks, I'm going to add in a more like smooth Don Henley style of a guitar line. Alright, so now that we've got our guitars kind of mapped out the way we want them, or somewhat of the way we want them, we're going to move on to the boss vocal track that's going to be the shining winner of the PHACKTZ theme song. Alright, so now I got my microphone all set up and I got a track ready to go, and we're going to start our vocals. Now when I do vocals, I like to do like 2 or 3 just to kind of like layer them up to make them sound like ripping. And sometimes I'll do like a real like soft one, and then I'll do like a real savage one, and then like one to like middle it all out. Today, you know, it's a theme song, so I'm just going to be saying the name of the theme song or the name of the podcast. You're not going to be able to hear the backing vocal or the background music right now because I have my headphones on. We're going for pure animal savagery on this one. We got the PHACKTZ! Alright, so I think I pretty much hit that one right on the head, and we're going to go ahead and double that one up. PHACKTZ! Yeah, motherfucker! I got the PHACKTZ! Ha! PHACKTZ! Chill! Shout! PHACKTZ! Alright, cool. I think I might take out the motherfucker part, but that was just because I was feeling it and getting the vibe. So excuse that I can't block the channels that come to me when I'm possessed by the vocal gods. All right, well I'm gonna abandon that idea of channeling my Scott Weiland because it didn't work, but we're gonna do this last one. PHACKTZ! I got the PHACKTZ! Ha! PHACKTZ! PHACKTZ! Okay, cool. So I'm going to spare you with the mixing, and that's pretty much just how I build a beat. I try to add in some synthesizers, and I'll polish it up and make it sound as legit as I possibly can. So that's pretty much it. I start off with my hi-hats, then I move on to my kick and my snare, and then after that I put my bass line down, and then I go and I add my first, second, and third guitar lines. Then I sometimes will add some keyboards. Today I didn't. And then I'll add some vocal tracks. So it's kind of like a stacking process. Then it's all about crafting the song. Now, if I was doing a longer version, I would break it up and put in an intro and a verse and a chorus and the whole thing. This is just balls to the walls theme song. I hope you enjoyed this process. I know it's kind of boring, but at the same time, I think if you're wanting to make music and you're afraid to do it, it's very easy and it's a lot more accessible than you think. So I suggest that you grab yourself a free program or something like GarageBand and just start tinkering around, because you'd be surprised at what you're going to come up with right away. Always remember, folks, to be kind, rewind, check out our podcast. It's coming out Friday. It's about Deadpool. It's called PHACKTZ, if you didn't already get that. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, don't give it a thumbs up, but tell me why you didn't like this video in the comment section below. Or if you did, do the opposite of that. And subscribe, do the whole thing. Check out Monster Films. Subscribe to him. He's awesome. We're partners. We're doing the thing. And we're kicking butts and grabbing nuts. Peace, y'all. Woo!